welcome again. This is Ennio Sinisa. I'm the UMS Group CEO at the ITAMS conference in Amsterdam last day. Today we have a couple of interviews, and one of them is with our distinguished friend Rainer Korte, who is the Group Chief Operating Officer of Electronet in Australia. Thank you for giving us the time for this interview, Rainer. It's a brief interview, just getting a bit of your impressions of what we have witnessed these days, and also your own participation, not to forget about. How are you perceiving the ITAMS conference? How did it go according to your mind?
Look, I've enjoyed my visit here and the time spent with other transmission operators from around the world. I think my perspective is that we're going through a clean energy transition towards a society objective of net zero emissions, and because of that we're all facing new challenges that we haven't experienced before. And so I think sharing those experiences and talking to each other about the various challenges that we're having in our own countries and locations is important to getting thoughts and ideas about how collectively we can solve some fairly significant challenges that we face.
Yeah, you're based in Southwest Australia. We have companies from India, from South America, from Europe. What is the common denominator in all of this? Is that just what you just said, or is there something else that you feel there's a common denominator that we're all faced with, for example?
Well, that's a good question. As I've reflected upon what I've heard and discussed with colleagues here, I think there are some common themes. I think we are all very focused on more renewable energy in our networks, in our power system, which is of course important. We're seeing certainly in Australia coal plants closing now over the coming years, and just the amount of investment that's going to be needed to secure the clean energy transition is just massive, and that sort of leads to some of the challenges I mentioned before. But I think also we have other societal changes that are happening, digitisation. How can we get the best value out of new technology to solve these problems? Ultimately, all of us who are transmission operators, what our mandate is to provide transmission services to customers. And what they expect from us is that we're going to be able to provide a reliable service, a safe service, a secure service, but also one that's affordable and that balances, risk and costs appropriately as they would expect us to. So I think I've heard a lot of those themes come out through the ITAMS conference, and there's been some really good thought-provoking presentations and sharing of information. I think that gives us all an opportunity to reflect on how we're tackling some of those things and what we can do perhaps a little better.
Yeah, that's wonderful and detailed feedback. So what would be your, let's say, number one takeaway that you bring back home out of this? Because you mentioned a couple of things, but maybe one sticks out.
Yeah. Look, that's a difficult question to answer, I think, because it's difficult to boil it down just to one thing. But I think probably the one thing, if I was to choose one thing,
yes,
it may well be, first of all, a bit of a validation, that we're on the right track. Mm-hmm. I think because, what I've seen here is that most of the TSOs are facing very similar challenges and problems and are trying some of the same sort of initiatives. And some are a little further ahead than others, and that gives the opportunity for learning and growth, I think, as we compare notes and learn together.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing all of this. Is there any final comment that you would like to share?
Well, look, for me, it's my first time experience at an ITAMS conference. Also first time in Amsterdam, and I've certainly enjoyed the visit, and I feel that I'm taking some value out of it back to Electronet. So thank you very much for the opportunity.
My pleasure, and thank you for your presence and for the nice words in the interview as well.
Sure.
And enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you
so much.